Hello again with another video back on the YouTube channel. Today we are talking about the Avengers Doomsday trailer that dropped yesterday. So very excited. I love the trailer. Got stuff to talk about, so we're gonna get right into it. But before I get into the trailer, I want to talk about the hate this trailer has been getting. It's been getting a lot of hate, and a lot of the hate is stemming from people saying like there's no build up, so I didn't really feel excited uh when I saw the trailer, or some of the people or something like that are saying like, oh, I haven't seen Shang-Chi in like 5 years, so it's like I wasn't excited for him, or just stuff like that. And it's just like, it's so annoying because it's like, before this trailer was released and we were getting like, and like before Brand New Day was getting all this promotion it's getting now, every time Marvel excuse me, would post something on their accounts or whatever, it would just be flooded with like, where's the Doomsday trailer, where's the Doomsday trailer? And we finally get the Doomsday trailer, and it's just like people are just, they're never happy, and it's just like, ugh, it's just frustrating, right? So yeah, I don't know, it's just a lot of hate about stuff like that. And I want to touch on some of that when I get into more like stuff with the trailer or whatever like that. But I don't know, it just baffles me that, you finally get what you want and you're not satisfied, right? Anywho, so enough of that. Let's get into the trailer. So in the beginning of the trailer, it opens up with us seeing the sign outside of the Xavier Institute, Xavier's school for gifted youngsters. But of course, it's not on the outside, it's like laid down in kind of like some ashes or whatever, and the camera's kind of panning with the light going over it. Then we eventually hear someone's voice talking about, something is coming, something we may not be able to deter. And at first I was like, who is this talking? But I kind of heard some more of the voice and some of the action. I was like, oh, this is Doom. And I gonna lie, I don't know about anybody else on the internet or whatever. I haven't seen nothing about it really, but man, I think he sounds good as Doom. I think he really got that accent on for Doom. I mean, it was kind of hard to tell, like, damn, like that's RDJ. So I really love that. And then of course, the camera pans onto Xavier at the window. I believe that's the next shot, at the window looking out, and it's all bright outside and kind of colorful. And then there's like this loud noise and bright flashes of light, and he's like covering his face. That right there, I'm pretty sure, are the incursions that people have been talking about, and the non-existent buildup or whatever, because we kind of got some of what was coming, especially in Brave New World, when Sam goes to visit the leader, and he's like, you think you heroes, or safer, or something like that, about, he starts talking about, what are you going to do when the other worlds show up or whatever. Of course, talking about Doomsday and all the incursions and all that, right? So quick explanation on what an incursion is. So an incursion is basically when two separate universes basically are about to collide into each other, and the result is, kablawi, both universes are gone. Now there are a couple ways to stop incursions. One of them being destroying one Earth, or I believe also destroying both of them. But of course, I don't think anybody want to do that. You want to try to save one or the other. Another one is the incursions, like the incursions, the universes just kind of pass through each other. Or another one is kind of how we see in Multiverse of Madness, when Strange goes to the 838 universe and he talks to the Illuminati, and he's talking to Reed in this certain scene, and Reed is telling him, your presence in this universe is confusing and destabilizing reality, right? So which will eventually lead to an incursion. So another way to kind of stop it is, if there's somebody in a universe they're not supposed to be in, right, and it's about to cause an incursion, you just kind of pluck them out, throw them back into the universe, or throw them somewhere else, right? So there's a couple ways to stop an incursion, and kind of what an incursion is. Then it goes over to show Doctor Doom, and he's like kind of hunched down, and he's like rising up. We see his mask, his hood, we see his cape, and he's looking all good or whatever. Can't really tell where he's at per se. And then it switches, I believe, to, of course, the Marvel Studios logo intro or whatever. Then we see Avengers Tower in New York, with the nice little white A with the red around it. Looks pretty cool. Then we get a shot of what it seems to be Thor and the Fantastic Four walking out of their ship. Now, I haven't seen anybody talk about this, and I am kind of curious because I didn't notice it the first like 3 times I watched it, because I watched it over a couple different times, kind of get the feel of the trailer and what I want to talk about. And I noticed, of course, the Fantastic Four walking out. I love their new suits with the little jackets and everything. I think they look really cool. But I noticed Thor walking out, and I was kind of like, why is Thor there? Like, you know how trailers are, especially Marvel trailers. They love playing with the Marvel trailers, cutting them up, doing all types of stuff to make them seem like certain stuff is going on, even though it's really not. But I noticed, yeah, when the Fantastic Four walks out, Thor is behind them. So what exactly is Thor doing there? And I feel like this kind of plays more into the scene, the post credit scene at the end of the Thunderbolts movie, when the tower is detecting, an anomaly. It says, what is it, extra dimensional or something like that. Like it says something, and it kind of alludes to it being not from this universe, and they enhance the screen, and it's the F4 ship coming down. People thinking that's them after their universe was destroyed by either an incursion or something. It had me thinking before the Thunderbolts movie and before the F4 movie that Galactus destroys the world, and that's how they get here, but clearly that wasn't exactly the case. Um, but yeah, but then it's the shot of them coming out of the ship and Thor's with them. So honestly, who knows? So we have to wait and see. Maybe they'll release some more clips, but there was that. Then it's of course you have a monologue of Thor talking about how he's faced many enemies, stronger than all of them combined, who's all in the tower. And of course in that tower we see Thor giving a speech. We see Ant-Man. I think Wasp was there. I don't know. I'd have to go back and see, but we see, of course, the new Avengers. Red Guardian, Yelena, Bucky. I think Sam's also there as well, and then of course the F4. And he was like, but none of them have scared me, as much as this threat, right? And then we also get a quick shot of him like landing somewhere on maybe some other universe. There's a statue behind him, but I couldn't get a real good shot at it, so I couldn't really see what it was or what world this is. And he looks off in the distance and sees Doom just standing there, like unfazed. And he lights up Stormbreaker, right, or whatever. And then after we get that shot of everybody in the new Avengers Tower, then I think it also starts to switch over to like basically clips we've kind of already seen from those really small trailers they kind of gave us. So one of them being when let me think. Oh, yeah, so one of them being when M'Baku and Shuri go to meet with Namor to probably get his help again. And there's a shot where she kind of dons her Black Panther mask, and they're about to be pinned against each other. Namor's just literally sitting on the throne, just again unfazed. But then that wasn't in that trailer, but it did kind of seem like they were going to meet Namor and them. But the clip I was talking about that we already seen was when M'Baku shakes hands with Ben Grimm, right? With meeting Ben Grimm of the Fantastic Four. It's kind of a different shot than what we kind of saw. But the interesting thing to me in this shot in the trailer is that there's something going on behind them. They're like in this desert like place or whatever, and there's like this blue like wall. It looks like water, maybe like I don't know, Namor like lifted the water or something. It looks like that's what it is, or maybe it's some dimensional barrier. Not really sure, but I noticed that. Then we get some other shots of looks like Shang-Chi and Gambit fighting, which I thought was really cool. Now, some of these next shots, so like the Gambit and Shang-Chi fighting, and then of course later on, a little bit later on, we get Yelena and Mystique fighting. I don't know about you guys, but I actually did see some leaks about that happening. Like I saw some accounts posting about, oh, this happened in the trailer and all that, and I guess it really did happen. So we get Gambit and Shang-Chi fighting. Gambit throws some cards at him. He throws his rings at him. He's sitting there. He's like, no, 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 or whatever, right? But I want you guys to let me know. Who do you think would win that fight? Shang-Chi or Gambit? So, I don't know. You guys let me know. Anyways, and then we get another shot, like I said, a little bit later on of Yelena and Mystique fighting. And, of course, Mystique grabs Yelena's baton and then shifts into her. I just thought that was really cool. I think Mystique looks really cool. Like, I like that she got the little white outfit going on, a little bit of the, comic accurate outfit going on, her orange hair. But of course, not everybody likes everything. So there's a lot of hate surrounding her right now. And honestly, you just got to tune it out, bro. No one's ever going to be happy, right? So it is what it is. I also did see some people saying that it would have been cool, or like Mystique should have transformed or should have shapeshift or changed into Natasha. And yeah, that would have been pretty cool and jarring to see, but how would that really work? Because Mystique doesn't know who Natasha is, so it's like, how could she really even do that? And Mystique can't read minds, so it's like, yeah, can't really happen. Anyway, so we get that, then we get another shot of like Gambit jumping in the air and smacking down his staff with all the kinetic energy going everywhere, and then we get a shot of Cyclops running up with his visor, and it's all lit up and everything. Awesome shot. Then we get another shot of Magneto and Xavier looking all old, man. Please don't let these dudes go out in a horrific way. Let them go out like OGs. Thank you. Anyways, so we get some of that. And then, what else? Some other stuff we get in this trailer. We get a shot of Namor like flying, and then we get a shot of like Johnny holding somebody like crying, and then I think we also get a shot of that with Yelena. I think with somebody. Then we get a shot of Loki, which kind of was like confused me a little bit because it wasn't like God of Stories Loki. You know, at the center of everything, holding the multiverse together. It was like TVA, like, you know, when we saw him in the TVA, his suit and everything, holding a card of him. So who knows when that is? Could be a flashback, could be, I don't know. Who knows what it is, right? Anyway, so we get that, and then we get some more monologue about Thor talking about, you know, you go and do this fight, you're gonna come back as brothers and sisters, you know, and the music is just booming, it's there. I'm just like, gang, it's crazy. Then we get a shot of Sue Storm, Invisible Woman, holding the force field. Looks like she's like really trying to hold something, like she's like about to cry or whatever, and it's like, God, it's people are gonna die, right? Doom is coming, Doomsday, bro. Anyways, okay, sorry, got a little carried away. But anyways, we didn't see Beast in this trailer, which I thought was kind of weird because he was in some of the promotional art, and we know he's going to be here, I believe. But so yeah, there was that. I want to say I went over almost every shot. Hope I didn't miss any. I also want to talk about some thoughts of certain things in the trailer. But of course, the trailer ends with Thor jumping in the air, right? With the same shot he did on Thanos, right? People were talking about, right? Or whatever, right? In Infinity War. And Doom just blocks it, unfazed. Thor looks up at him. He's like, what the hell? And then Doom's just standing there, just not even unfazed, bro. And I like when the lightning kind of like glistens off his eye. You can see his eyes are green. I thought that was kind of cool. And then, of course, the trailer ends, or not ends, but it shows the title, right? And then it shoots the Thor, you know, talking about, you know, we're going to need a miracle. And then, you know, he's walking up with Mjolnir and Stormbreaker. You know, someone's like, you know, hey, pal. And he's like, you know, it's not possible. And then lifts up the hammer. Boom. Catches it. It's our boy Steve Rogers. Now that we're at the end of the trailer, some things I want to talk about. And also we're at the end of the trailer, there's something I want to talk about at the end of the trailer. Now, the Steve Rogers that we see at the end of the trailer, right? He's not old, he's not decrepit, he's not, you know, he doesn't have like white hair and all of that. Looks like Steve, like from Infinity War, right? Or whatever, right? I have seen some things of people saying that this is not Steve. That's not our Steve. That this is Hydra Supreme Steve. Now, for those of you who don't know who Hydra Supreme Steve is, let's do a quick rundown. Okay, so there was a storyline called Secret Empire, right? I think there may have been like a follow-up story to kind of lead into it. Not really sure. But the main overarching story with Hydra Supreme Captain America was the Secret Empire storyline. So basically, Red Skull gets his hands on a cosmic cube, rewrites the timeline to where Steve was pretty much always a Hydra agent, which is where you get that really iconic comic book panel of Steve standing there with, I forget who that is, tied up, and he's like, Hail Hydra, and people have like recreated into so many other like memes or whatever. But that's where that comes from. So basically, it gets revealed like he's been all Hydra agent. That's when we get that dope ass green and gold outfit and that really awesome panel, or I think it's a cover where he's sitting there and he's just like, shit's so dope, right? So people are saying that because way before we got this trailer, there were people online saying that Doom was going to be going around the multiverse, collecting and like bringing people together for his own like Dark Avengers per se, and of course not a version of Norman Osborn's Dark Avengers from Devil's Reign, but like just darker versions of previous Avengers characters. And so people are thinking that that's who that is, right? So, I mean, possibly, you know, could it be? Who knows, right? We'll have to wait and see, but it still is cool to see Chris Evans come back as Captain America. Now, some other things I want to talk about. What universe is this? Like, what X-Men universe is that, right? Because my initial thought was going to be that this was, first and foremost, I don't think it's the 20th Century Fox, like early 2000s X-Men universe. I just don't really think it is, mainly because of the costumes. Now, yes, they could change, you know, maybe they change their costumes after a while or whatever, but I don't think they did. I think the suits and like costumes of certain characters that we see multiple versions of throughout the multiverse are kind of like a way to kind of like color code them, if you would put it that way, to know like, oh, that's that universe or that's this universe. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think it's them. Um, I also don't think it's the universe that we see that Wolverine come from in Deadpool Wolverine. At first, I originally thought this was going to be the universe where Monica Rambeau is stuck in as of right now. Because at the end of the Marvels, Monica Rambeau gets slingshotted or something or whatever into a parallel universe, and she wakes up, and she's of course in the X Mansion getting taken care of by Beast, right? And Beast is going to be in this movie. So I'm kind of thinking, well, at least I was, but I don't really know now. It just like seemed like their world just kind of went to shit, especially when we got that one X-Men trailer and Cyclops is on the ground. He rips off his visor and he's screaming, and you can clearly see a Sentinel in the back, and it's like the X-Mansion is destroyed. So then I would kind of like raise the question, okay, well then where's Monica? You know what I'm saying? So it might be an entirely new universe. I don't really know yet, but I don't think it's that universe she's in anymore, right? So there's that, and it's probably most likely a standalone X-Men universe. So there is that. Also, another question too: who do you really think? Because there's still people saying that like that ship that's coming down isn't the F4, but it's definitely the F4. I don't know why people are still saying that, but like I said earlier in the video, like why is Thor with the F4 coming out of the ship? Like I really want to know that, and I really want to like. I hope they maybe not like a clip, but maybe a little something to kind of clarify that up. Now, the biggest thing I really wanted to talk about was what Doom was referring to in the beginning of this trailer. Because in the beginning of this trailer, Doom says something is coming, something we may not be able to deter. Now, initially, when I watched this trailer, I was thinking, oh, okay, he's talking about the incursions. But he says something is coming, right? He doesn't word it in a way to be like, I don't know, to like say as if like multiple things are coming, because when incursions happen, it's multiple. It's not just one incursion and you got to just stop it. Like incursions happen all over the place, right? And it's always so hard to kind of tell, because back to what I was saying about people saying, oh, like they don't know what's going on in this movie or whatever. And it's just kind of fair because this movie isn't based off a comic, right? There's no comic called like Doomsday that deals with like, you know, what we see so far in this movie, but it's just using bits and pieces of other stories, and one of those stories is the 2014 Secret Wars event, right? Which is where we get the incursions from. But me personally, when he says something is coming, I almost kind of think he's talking about the Beyonder, right? And for those of you who don't know what the Beyonder is, I'll try to give like a quick like explanation. I don't want to go too much into it because I don't want to like detour off of that. If you want me to give it like an in-depth explanation and explain him, you know, all like, you know, full and through, let me know and I'll do that. But basically, we'll use the newest origin because that's probably what they would go after. Okay, so in the original Secret Wars event, I hope it's not too long. In the original Secret Wars event, right, in the 80s, the Beyonder, it was only the Beyonder, right? You know, the white dude with the, you know, kind of fluffy black hair and the little white get up or whatever, right? So he was the only one, right? It was just him. He came from, we said, the Beyond, and was, you know, going around the multiverse, messing stuff up, creating Battle World or whatever, doing whatever, right? Okay, so in the 2014 one, we get a little bit more of his origin. We learned that there isn't just one Beyonder. There are Beyonders. They're a whole race. And so basically the Beyonder, the one from the original Secret Wars event, who's also in this one, he was in like this pocket universe or whatever. It was the Beyond, and he was like, I don't know. I think they said that he was like an infant, and the Molecule Man Owen Reese. I forget who he was. He was working for some company, and he like tore a hole in like in the fabric of time and space, and the energy from that realm bombarded him and turned him into Molecule Man, right? The super OP, you know, dude that we all know. But that in and of itself released the Beyonder, and he got kind of curious about our world, so he took a human form, and you know the rest is history from the Secret Wars event. I think actually the accident that turned Owen Reese into the Molecule Man was on purpose by the Beyonders. But that's kind of long story short. He's uber powerful, man. Like super duper powerful. Anyways, I think that's him. I think I don't think they're going to use the Beyonder in this movie. Obviously, there haven't been any like leaks or whatever, people like talking about it. But I don't think they're gonna put someone like Doom in here and then have him overshadowed by someone like the Beyonder, right? But I think they might be leading up to him being the villain in Secret Wars, as he is in the comics. And that also kind of leads me to kind of think like, yeah, Doom's doing some evil shit, but maybe he's, because you know how Doom is, right? If you really know Doom, you know how Doom works. Doom ain't the type of dude to just kind of be like, I need your help, please help me, help us save the world, please, 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 please. No, no, no. I need your help. You're gonna help me now because Doom says so. He's not gonna go around, holding your hand, asking you nicely. So it almost wants me to believe that maybe at the end of this, all of this, what he's doing is to get people together so they can fight the Beyonder in Secret Wars, which I'm not gonna lie to you guys, in a way, I'm more excited for Secret Wars because Secret Wars is such a huge event. It's like Marvel's version. Now, I don't want to downplay it like that or vice versa, but it's almost kind of like DC's version, or my bad, Marvel's version of DC's Crisis on Infinite Earths, right? Where it involves everybody, everywhere, all at once, fighting to save the multiverse itself. It's kind of like that. It's such a huge event. And I really think they might be leading up to the Beyonder or something akin to the Beyonder, right? Like I really do think they're and if they use and I really want them to use the Beyonder. I really do because he's so cool, and it also could lead us to getting um God Emperor Doom, and of course that panel people won't let like rest of Doom ripping out Thanos' spine and telling him, it appears to be untrue. I swear when people I don't want to get into that, but it's a whole nother thing. Anyways, so yeah, I think this is leading, excuse me, into them fighting the Beyonder, right? Like at the end of this, it's going to be revealed that Doom really wasn't the overarching villain, and he was trying to get these people so they could fight the Beyonder. But of course, the movie isn't out. Still got about 4 months to see, so we will have to wait and see. If there's anything else you want me to talk about in this video, let me know, and I will make a video about it. I hope I touched on every scene in the trailer I can talk about. Don't think there's anything else. Little tidbits before I go. But yeah, I can't wait to see this movie. Already got my tickets. Make sure you guys get your tickets. Get your tickets. Don't get them, they're getting sold out. Glad I made this video, and I'll see you guys around.